Hello and welcome back to Nerd News Today, and it's time for another action figure review and unboxing. And today in the hot seat we've got ourselves from Bandai, their latest figures from their Anime Hero series. We spoke with the folks at Bandai during our Nerd News Today Toy Fair 2021 event, and they gave us the inside scoop on what's coming next from the Anime Heroes line, as well as their Dragon Ball line. So if you guys haven't seen that video, go ahead and check that out to see what's coming down the pipe. But as for today, we have the long anticipated One Piece line from Anime Heroes. But not just any part of One Piece, this is the figures that take place after the 2-year-long jump. So today we've got Monkey D. Luffy, Roronoa Zoro, or Zolo depending how you want to say it, and Sanji, all featuring their updated looks after their 2-year period of all going off in their own different directions to train and become stronger fighters. Now, if you want to pick up these Anime Heroes figures or any figures just like it, go ahead and visit Big Bad Toy Store. You can find a link for that in the description below. So if you guys have seen my reviews on any of the other previous Anime Heroes figures out there, I really like them a lot, and I think Bandai figures in particular are very underrated among collectors. I think anime fans know about these toys, but I think folks like myself who would, let's say, for example, focus more on Marvel Legends or NECA figures, things like that, these toys kind of get lost in the mix, and I think that's a shame because there's a lot of really great things about them. But we're going to see that once we take them out of the box. First things first, so let's talk about this packaging here, and it is very nice, very simple. It's identical to all of the Anime Heroes packaging out there. It's fairly collector friendly, meaning you can basically just kind of snip off the tape on the top of the box, slide the figure out into the plastic tray, and take all the pieces out. And once you're done looking at the toy or taking photos of whatever you're going to do with it, you can easily put them right back in. We have an enormous window display in each of these that shows you what comes with all these toys, and they all have a bunch of different accessories unique to their characters. The front of the box also has a nice illustration of the character, and the back of the box, well, nothing really there to talk about. It's literally just the 3 figures in this line. No text, no backstory, no look at who else is in our Anime Heroes line, no look at other franchises even. It's just these 3 figures, that's it, nothing more. So the packaging is very nice, very simple, but it gets the job done. But hey, that's enough about that. Let's go ahead and take our One Piece figures out of the box and get a better look at them from all angles. And we're back, and here are our One Piece Anime Heroes figures all lined up. And these things look really, really nice. Yeah, so I want to jump right into likeness, and I think that's a pretty easy one. Do these figures look like their anime and manga counterparts? And the answer is an absolute yes. I think the heads are really nice across the board in all of these. They capture their expressions, they capture the look, they capture the colors. I think these are perfect adaptations of a 2D drawing brought to life in 3D form. And that's one of the nice things about Bandai. I don't think they really ever had a problem capturing those anime likenesses and maintaining that look of the anime and the mangas while turning them into toys. And that's not an easy thing to do. I mean, from every angle, they've got every little detail. It's wonderful. I really like these figures here a lot. And the paint application is also very clean. And I could say that across the board, you know, just an initial glance at these figures, you can see there's like, I think no slop on any of these figures. There's no like excess paint anywhere. It's all very, very clean, very stunning. Looks excellent. And yeah, while I'm saying those likenesses look good, I'm talking about just the faces, but if we look at the entire bodies of the characters, I mean, yeah, these are what these characters are dressed like in the anime, in the manga. It's identical. It's pretty much nailed top to bottom. I'll show you guys what the back of these figures look like too, and you can see again what I'm talking about here. It's just perfect. Like, no complaints here. Even down to the folds in their clothes. I mean, I feel like it's pretty much identical to how they're going to look if you look at them in the cartoon or in the comic. Now, one of the big things that I really like about the Anime Heroes line, and these Bandai figures in general, is the articulation. I think their articulation is really, really great, especially if we consider what the price point is of these figures. So I kind of want to dive right into that, and I guess I'm going to use Sanji maybe. He's a good example of that. He's got like the most unhinderedness of all the figures here that we're looking at, but yeah, he's got a ball-jointed head, as well as a neck joint, I believe, too, that kind of moves around a little bit. We have these shoulder joints that, I'm going to actually move Luffy out of the way for a minute while I do this. We have these shoulder joints here that actually, they're ball jointed, but not only are they ball jointed, you can kind of see they can go up and down. You guys are seeing that. So they've got a little bit extra range of motion. It's not like a butterfly joint, but it is a little bit of an extra joint in there. In addition to that, we've got a bicep swivel, which is really nice. We've got a double jointed elbow, which is great. And we have wrist joints that can flex and rotate. There's no buck, there's no torso that can bend, but the waist does move. You can see that right there. We do have a really nice crotch area too. Great range of motion with that. As for the lower body, we've got a really nice hip piece over here. Allows for a lot of flexibility. And with a character like Sanji, especially, he's known for his kicks, you need to have that flexibility. We have double jointed knees as well, and ball joint in the ankles for some mobility there too. There's no thigh cut on this character. I believe Luffy actually does have a thigh cut, sort of. His is built into over here into the shorts, so that's how you get that. Otherwise, yeah, really, the only thing that's missing from, like, let's say most other figures I would collect would be a thigh cut and a buck. But you know, I don't think Bandai has done much for the Bucks for a long time. At least at this price point. I feel like the last time I've seen one might have been like the Ultimate Muscle line, which is like one of my favorite pro wrestling toys of all time. But otherwise, flexibility, very nice, really good articulation, very solid across the board. So let's just kind of spend some time now discussing a few other finer points with the figures too. And since I've got Sanji here, I think he might be my favorite of the bunch actually, not sure, but let's show you what he comes with in fact. So one of the nice features about him is that he does have this kind of rubber material, which maintains the look of the toy, while also still giving you some flexibility to do all of his awesome kicks that he's known for doing. And what else he comes with is a pair of hands. You can see I'm gonna have him right here. He's got another closed fist, another open hand, but more importantly, he has this. This pile of flames here is really awesome. And what is neat about this character is that his feet come off and you just slide this into that. It slides right in and you've now got a foot of flaming fury to be exact, to go ahead and do some kicks to get some awesome posing with. Now I will add, once this is on his foot, he's not going to stand up very well if you're having him pose like this. You're going to want to get like some kind of an action stand. I mean, if he's just like this, it's fine, but it looks like he's stepping into a bag of like flaming turds. But if you actually get some like dynamic way to pose him, it'll look really, really excellent. And if you're wondering, yes, both feet do come off and this fits into both feet joints, so you can have total flexibility with whatever foot you want to have him kick with. And at the end of the day, you'll also have a spare shoe you could put in his hand so he could go ahead and whack somebody with. I don't know what you do with that foot, but yeah, I really, really like that little touch. I like that the feet are interchangeable like that. Nice accessory. Let's talk about Luffy next. Luffy also comes with a bunch of different hands. You can see them right here. That's his accessories, is just basically these 4 additional hands. And Luffy has a great looking costume as well. I love this, great flexibility. No stretchy parts or anything like that to kind of exemplify how stretchy he is. What Luffy does have that separates him from the other guys is he has a hat attached to him. He's got his straw hat right there on the back of him. And the question I had when I got this toy was, can I actually get that hat off of his back? And the answer is yes. You can see it right there. Pops out. We can pop the head right back in, just like so. Fits in really nice, very naturally. And there you go. You can take the hat off. Not like you're going to, but if you ever wanted to, you can. And there you go. You have him just wear it on his head. That's kind of awkward. Doesn't necessarily fit that well on his head, but it does do the trick. So if you are curious about that, there's your answer to that question. And last but not least, let's switch places here and bring on Zoro. This, you know, I was saying Sanji might be my favorite, but I think Zoro is really close to being the favorite too, because of just the sheer number of accessories that he has compared to everybody else. So you can see right now Zoro has 2 closed fists on his hands, but he also has his 2 open hands to hold his swords, and he's got a lot of those. But first, since I haven't done this yet on camera, let's swap some hands out, and that should be pretty easy to do as well. That's one hand in. Here comes hand number 2. And by the way, if you're wondering, all of the hands basically have an identical coloring. And what that means is that everybody can use anyone's hands. So yeah, that's kind of one of the nice things about these toys too. All identical. I can just mix them up right now and show you guys to prove a point. There's Luffy's hands with Zoro's hands. You can't tell them apart. So as I just mentioned, Zoro comes with a ton of swords here. You can see we've got a whole bunch of them. So there's some that are in their scabbards, some that are just kind of loose. And the reason for that is because you can see them here. We've got some that are already out, their blades out in the open, others are not. So yeah, these ones in the scabbard, they are not removable. What they are actually is, well, removable, but nothing there. So this way, basically, you can still put all the scabbards into his belt over here. I'm totally doing this in the wrong order, but you guys can figure out that at home. So they all will fit into this over here, however they're meant to fit in. And yeah, I don't know the names of these swords, so if anybody out there does and wants to name them, go ahead and you'll win yourself a Nerd News Today no prize. So all the swords are in there, and whenever you want to say that he's actually, let's say, using one of them, you can just pop out the matching hilt from the scabbard over here and just pretend he's got it in his hands. So it's actually kind of clever. I was wondering, you know, if they were going to actually make them removable or what the deal was, but that is how it all works together. So kind of clever of them for doing that. I will say though, as a piece of warning, the sword here feels very flimsy. It's very thin, and I'm definitely having some concerns about the longevity of this piece. So if you're swapping stuff out, be very careful not to put too much pressure. I have his legs falling over. Be careful not to put too much pressure on the blade itself or it will fall. And then trying to glue that back together is going to be a pain in the butt. It's never going to look the same. Let's go ahead and put this one in this hand. So one of the complaints I saw people actually discuss in our Toy Fair video was how they wanted to have Zoro have an additional head so that he could hold their sword in his mouth, because that's what he does. It's his style. And as you can see here, yeah, that doesn't exactly work out. So I do not disagree. I wish there was an alternate head sculpt to pop onto him with the sword in his mouth, or with like a little slit for you to slide the sword into his mouth. That would make more sense. But I can't say that Bandai has really included too many heads in their other figures. I don't really think they've done that, to be honest. And considering also the price point of these toys, that's kind of probably another reason why they're not doing that. Again, I wish they did, especially for Zoro. Like, he needs to have a head with his mouth open to hold onto that extra sword here, but for some reason they're still not doing that. I don't know why. I wish they would, because that would be the one thing that would make this like a perfect 10 of a figure here. And while I'm here too, I also wanted to try figure out whether or not this can come off here, this section here. I don't know if this is removable or not. Let us see how this would work. I think it is. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and slide all these swords out for a second, and let us see if we can actually get him out of this and get him into his full fight look. Let's see. All right, so I don't know if you guys can tell here, it doesn't look like it actually is meant to come off. I think that is permanently on him. Yeah, if you take this off, it's not gonna come back on, so. All right, there you guys go. So in other words, do not try and do that. Just leave him as is. Or if you really want to have him with his legs displayed, you might want to just buy another figure. So that's how our 3 One Piece figures look side by side. But let's go ahead and try out a few other figures here. And I do have actually a few other figures from Anime Heroes available to show off for scaling purposes. Here is Kakashi from their Naruto line. And I've also got a character from Saint Seiya, whose name I currently cannot remember, but there he is. These were both really cool looking figures. And yeah, size-wise, they all look just perfectly fine together. They fit in completely naturally in the world. That's not a problem at all. But let's try some toys from a few other lines. So here's how a Silver Centurion Iron Man figure looks side by side. They scale up perfectly. 6 inches, no problem there. How about a WWE Mattel Elite figure here, Roman Reigns? So he is gonna be bigger because he's a larger size figure anyway already, but these guys still fit in just fine, so that works for me. You know, again, Roman is like a taller character, so he's gonna look bigger, but it still scales fine. Let's try a Kenny Omega from an AEW Jazzwares figure, and yeah, same thing, looks really good to me. You know, these guys are in scale with a lot of 6-inch figures. That's the main size that I collect, so I'm happy about that. So at the end of the day, I really like these figures. I think they've got a great price point. I think they've got a great look. They're very cleanly painted, excellent execution, magnificent articulation. It's not as good as, let's say, like one of those AEW figures that I showed you or a Mattel WWE figure, but it's still very nice. Good number of accessories, although I will say again, those swords are kind of a little bit flimsy, so be careful when you're doing posing with these, again, just as a reminder, because I don't know how long they're gonna last as is. Be very careful of them snapping off. But otherwise, good attention to detail along with that note. They're really great figures, and you know, again, the only thing I wish they would have had would be, honestly, an additional head sculpt. That would make these like really amazing for me. That would knock these out of the park. But for whatever reason, Bandai doesn't do that. And that might be because it kind of conflicts with other things they're making and other toys that are on the market of this, because you can easily get, I think, like some figure arts style figures, these characters, or other figures that would cost 3 or 4 times as much that will have better articulation, or different heads, different hands, different accessories, with more detailed paint jobs, that kind of thing. So, you know, basically these are very nice for what they are, and I consider them to be consumer grade as much as collector grade. These are great for kids, these are great for adult collectors. And what's great about them is that you're not gonna have to pay the same price of a Figure Arts or a Mafex figure. So that's kind of why I speak so highly about them, is because yeah, there's definitely better versions of these types of characters out there, but for what you're spending, I think you can't beat that. So my only thing would be, again, I would love it if they could include an extra head, but that would really be it. Otherwise, I'm pretty content with all these figures, and if you're a fan of One Piece, I think you're gonna be too. If you'd like to pick up these Anime Heroes One Piece figures, why not use our Amazon affiliate link in the description below? It helps us out and costs you guys nothing extra, and it will be much appreciated to help keep this channel growing and going strong. So until next time, I'm Matthew. That's our One Piece Anime Heroes figures from Bandai. Hope you enjoyed this review, and if you did, please make sure to subscribe and check out everything else we do here on the channel. So until next time, I'm Matthew, and we are. And only One Piece fans are gonna get that reference. See you next time.